Hi all. So today we are going to discuss Study Note 7 provision relating to audit under Companies Act. So the institute has issued the revised material for Study Note 7 actually, which is available in the website, institute website under the student session. You can download from the website under the Study Note book supplementary paper 12 June 2020. It is actually supplementary paper 12 June 2020, that's related to Study Note 7 revised version. I am going to discuss based on the Study Note 7 only, revised version. So I request you to please download the supplementary first before understanding the discussion. You please download the supplementary. There will be some revision on this updated version. So Study Note 7, under the Study Note 7 we are going to discuss today 7.1. 7.1 is Auditor's Qualification, Disqualification, Appointment, Remuneration, Removal, Powers and Duties. 7.1 Auditor's Qualification, Disqualification, Appointment, Remuneration, Removal, Powers and Duties. This topic we are going to discuss today. This is little bit important topic in examination point of view also. And the fundamental for this topic is basically provisions, act, rules and regulation, Companies Act. So whatever the provision related to audit in Companies Act as presented here as a separate topic, that is related to audit and auditors. Okay, so here we have to remember the points as it is there in the material, but you can write in your own English actually, but the point you have to remember, it is not like the Study Note 6 actually. Study Note 6 you can write your own points wherever there are a lot of logic and self-thinking is required for Study Note 6 actually, but especially the Study Note 7.1 is basically provisions means Companies Act. Whatever the points in the Companies Act we are going to discuss, you have to remember those points and you have to write in examination on your own English also. Even you can expect lot of 1 marks from this topic actually. So we will understand how they will ask and what is the type of thing they will ask and all. So before that, audit under the Companies Act. Audit under the Companies Act means what audit it is actually. Audit under Companies Act means what is the meaning of audit under Companies Act. So the thing is, audit under Companies Act, so the audit under Companies Act is basically many types of audit there in the Companies Act also. Audit means what? It's an financial audit, cost audit, internal audit, secretarial audit. What is the audit definition under the Companies Act? Audit means it is normally we have to interpret as financial audit or statutory audit conducted by practicing chartered accountant. Okay, because if any other audit means they have given the name correctly, that is cost audit means they have mentioned as cost audit in the Companies Act. Secretarial audit means they mentioned secretarial audit in the Companies Act. And one more thing, internal audit also they mentioned as internal audit in the Companies Act, but for statutory audit, for the financial audit they use the word audit. Audit under the Companies Act means we have to audit the financial statement of the company every year. That is called statutory audit. Okay, that is called statutory audit. So that audit only they are discussing here, audit under Companies Act. Okay, that only we are going to discuss now. Section 139, that is section 139. So 7.1, please all of you download the supplementary paper 12 June 2020 from the institute website, and I am going to discuss based on that document only. So 7.1 Auditor's Qualification, Disqualification, Appointment, Remuneration, Removal, Powers and Duties. That is what I am going to discuss under the 7.1 first page, Introduction. The Companies Act 2013 has made the audit of accounts of companies in India compulsory. So all the companies registered under the Companies Act, are definitely have to get the audit for their books of accounts. Actually, their books of accounts should be audited by auditor. Okay, that section is actually 139. Section 139 deals with appointment of auditors. Section 139 deals with appointment of auditors. Okay, so we are going to discuss those points, and the next para is appointment of auditors, section 139. Section 139, appointment of auditors. So what is audit? You know that audit means audit under the Companies Act. Audit under section 139 means what? So it is an audit of financial statement by the practicing chartered accountant, audited by the practicing chartered accountant. That is the meaning. Financial statement, giving opinion on the financial statement, providing opinion on the financial statement, audit report, statutory audit report. All these things are related to section 139. Okay, the thing is, so we have to understand which auditor when we have to appoint, which auditor when we have to appoint, what is called first auditor, what is called subsequent auditor. Okay, that we have to understand first. Before getting into the topic, you have to understand what is called first auditor. See, first auditor is normally an auditor who is appointed by the company itself after the incorporation. You should know first when to appoint the first auditor, then only you have to think about the subsequent auditor. Here the appointment of auditor under that first point is not basically for first auditor. Actually, they are not discussing about first auditor, first point. They are discussing about the subsequent auditor. Okay, so the point is, we have to understand the appointment of first auditor first, then we will come to the subsequent auditor appointment. So what I am suggesting is, you go to the point, this is point number 1 actually, that is page number 1 I am using. Then point number 2, next page you please come. Next page you have this rule 3, the next page you please come next page. You are able to read the rule 3, then next box you are able to read the rule 4, right? Below that you please come, second page you leave it, come to the third page, and come to the fourth page. Please come to the fourth page. All of you please come to the fourth page. I am using the supplementary paper 12 June 2020 available in the institute website. Okay, that only I am using now. So on that fourth page, you take the fourth page. In fourth page, are you able to view the point number 6? Point number 6 actually. 6, it is mentioned as 6. I am going to read that point now. Okay, that is belongs to first auditor appointment. I am going to read the first auditor appointment now. So point number 6 I am going to read first. Okay, what I am going to read, notwithstanding anything contained subsection 1, the first auditor of a company other than a government company shall be appointed by the board of directors within 30 days from the date of registration of company, and in case of failure of the board to appoint such auditor, it shall inform the members of the company, who shall within 90 days at an extraordinary general meeting appoint such auditor, and such auditor shall hold office till the conclusion of the first annual general meeting. So the point is, first auditor of the company means company is incorporated. Assume company is incorporated 1st April 2019. Assume company is incorporated. Company started on 1st April 2019. Okay. So first auditor should be appointed when, as per this theory. They are saying other than, this is not for government company, this is for other than government company. So it is not applicable to government company, it is other than a government company. So who will appoint the first auditor? First auditor means the auditor who is appointed after the incorporation of company. Okay, when he has to appointed, at what time he has to appointed. So I am reading the second line here. So other than a government company shall be appointed by the board of directors within 30 days from the date of registration means incorporation, registration or incorporation of the company. So the thing is, first auditor of the company should be appointed by the board of directors. Board of directors means, who is board of directors? They are the top management level employees of the company. They are only eligible to appoint the first auditor. They have to appoint when? Actually within 30 days from the date of incorporation. From the date of starting the company, within 30 days they have to appoint the auditors. Okay, but and in case, second I am reading third point, and in the case of failure of board to appoint such auditor, it shall inform the members of the company who shall within 90 days at external general meeting appoint such auditor, and such auditor shall hold office till the conclusion of the first annual general meeting. So if board of directors failed to appoint the auditor within 30 days, then what is the other option available to the company? Then directors should inform the shareholders. Then directors should inform the shareholders, that is members of the company means shareholders of the company, who shall within 90 days after information of board of directors, within 90 days time is given to members, shareholders. They have to appoint, they have to call the extraordinary general meeting. Okay, extraordinary general meeting. In that extraordinary general meeting, auditor should be appointed. That auditor appointed auditor is valid up to first annual general meeting. Okay, first annual general meeting is normally after 1 year. After 1 year of the financial year, we have to conduct the first annual general meeting. Okay, you have to understand when the AGM is conducted. So that is not relevant here actually. First annual general meeting is normally financial year is completed. After the financial year, within 6 months for the normal company, and within 9 months for the newly started company. First year started company only, they have given additional 3 months time. Okay, otherwise normally within 6 months from the closing financial year of the company, they have to from the financial year closing, within 6 months we have to take the time for conducting the AGM. Okay, that is for the new company it is normally 9 months, but that is not relevant to your topic actually. But you should understand what is AGM. Okay, first AGM, up to first AGM only that first auditor appointment is valid. Up to first AGM only that first auditor appointment is valid actually. So that means first auditor is normally appointed by board of directors within 30 days. If he fails to appoint, next 90 days time is given to members or shareholder. They have to appoint, they have to call the external general meeting, and they have to appoint the first auditor, and the validity of this appointment is up to first AGM only. So this thing you should understand first. This point you have to understand to proceed further. Okay, so with this I am just going to the first page now. With this I am going to the first page. First page I am going again. Come to the first page. So first page, first point I am going to read. First page, appointment of auditor. Under the appointment of auditor I am going to read the first point. Subject to the provision of this chapter, every company shall at the first annual general meeting appoint an individual or a firm as an auditor, who shall hold office till the conclusion of that meeting, till the conclusion of the 6th annual general meeting, and thereafter till the conclusion of the every 6th meeting. And manner and procedure selection of auditor by the members of the company at such meeting shall be as such prescribed in Rule 3 of Chapter 10 under the Act. So this is the point given here. So the point is, first auditor is appointed, his appointment is valid for only 1 year. On the first AGM, his appointment is getting over. Okay, so we have to appoint the subsequent auditor. First AGM we have to appoint the subsequent auditor. That AGM means annual general meeting. Annual general meeting, the auditor is appointed by the members of the company, shareholders, as to appoint the auditor, statutory auditor. So the point is, I am going to appoint one new auditor on the first AGM. First auditor is different. I am going to appoint new auditor on first AGM. How many years I can appoint this auditor at one shot? For a single appointment, how many years maximum I can appoint an auditor? Okay, so the point is up to 5 years in one term. In one term means 5 years I can appoint an auditor. For the term of 5 years I can appoint the auditor. Okay, means I cannot give an appointment more than 5 years at one appointment, or else at one instant I can't give more than 5 years. Then we have to understand how many years the auditor is eligible for appointment as an auditor. Okay, that is another point we will discuss. Now the question is, in an appointment, how many years maximum I can appoint an auditor as an auditor in my company. Okay, for conducting an audit in my company. That is the question. So 5 years, it is a term of 5 years. Okay, if I am appointing an auditor on the first AGM for 5 years, then 1 plus 5 equal to 6. 1 plus 5 equal to 6. First AGM I am appointing an auditor for the next 5 years, means 1 plus 5 equal to 6th AGM. So he will be an auditor in our company for completion of up to 6th AGM. That is, first year is already over. First and completion of first year, I am appointing new auditor for next 5 years. So 1 plus 5 equal to 6. Up to 6th AGM he is eligible to do audit in our company. Okay, that is the meaning. So that is what they said here. You read here. Every company shall at the first AGM appoint an individual or a firm as an auditor who shall hold the office from the conclusion of that meeting till the conclusion of its 6th annual general meeting, and thereafter till the conclusion of every 6th meeting, and manner and procedure of so and so things is given. So the thing is, if I want to appoint an auditor, I can appoint maximum term of 5 years at one shot. Now the question is whether the auditor can be appointed only for 5 years, or it can be renewed for further term also. After 5 years, what will happen? After the 6th AGM, what will happen? Whether I have to appoint new auditor or I can continue with this old auditor. That also we will discuss later. We have a separate point for that. But the point is, if I give an appointment, I have to give for term of 5 years. That is what the understanding. But that is not like I have to appoint only for 5 years. After 5 years, I have to change the audit. It is not like that. There is a provision for that. Rotation of auditors. We will discuss. During the rotation of auditor, we will discuss. As of now, this is the provision. Okay. Rule 3. Manner and procedure for selection of appointment of auditor. Manner and how to. So you are going to appoint an auditor. Subsequent auditor we are going to appoint. How to appoint. Procedure, manner. What manner we have to follow. That point I am going to read. Below the rule 3 I am going to read now. On that first point. In case of company that is required to constitute an audit committee under section 177. Audit committee means it is like a group of people who will deal with the auditors related matter. Auditors related matter and financial statement related matter and audit related matters, they will deal actually. There is a separate team in the company, that is audit committee. Okay, that audit committee is not applicable to all the company. Okay, it is applicable to certain category of company. Normally it is applicable to public limited company. You have a separate topic, we will discuss that also. Applicability of audit committee. Okay, if the audit committee is applicable to that company, means that audit committee normally involved in the appointment of auditor, remuneration of auditor, and the internal audit, reviewing of the audit report, all the things they will also involve. But but it is not applicable for all the companies actually. Audit committee is not applicable for all the companies. There is a provision for that we will discuss. So now we are going to read, if you are going to appoint an auditor, what is the procedure? That is what I am going to read. And that first point is, in case of company that is required to constitute an audit committee under section 177, the committee, and in cases where such committee is not required to be constituted, the board shall take into consideration the qualification and experience of the individual or the firm proposed to be considered for appointment as auditor, and whether such qualification and experience are commensurate with the size and requirements of the company. So if audit committee is there, they will check the auditor qualification experience for appointment of audit. If audit committee is not there, then board of directors will check the experience qualification of the auditor for appointment of auditor. Okay, so I am going to the next page now. Next page, second point, that is general point. Board or committee will ask what are the information they want. That is the second point. Third point I am going to read now. Third point I am going to read. Where a company is required to constitute the audit committee, the committee shall recommend the name of individual or firm as an auditor to the board for consideration. In other case, board shall consider and recommend an individual or to the members in the annual general meeting for appointment. If audit committee is applicable, then that committee group of people, what they will do, they will select an auditor. Okay, and they will recommend to the board. Board means board of directors. Board of directors is separate from audit committee. Here is separate people, there separate people. So audit committee will recommend to the board of directors. Board of directors. In case audit committee is not applicable, board of directors will choose the auditor and they will recommend to the members. Members means shareholders. Yeah, anyway, you have to get the permission from shareholders only. But now the selection thing is who is doing. If audit committee is available, they will take care of the selection thing and they will recommend to the board. If the audit committee is not available, then board itself will select the auditor and they will recommend to the members of the company. Okay, that is the meaning. Fourth point I am reading now. Fourth point is, if the board agrees with the recommendation of audit committee, it shall further recommend the appointment of individual of a firm as an auditor to the members in its annual general meeting. If the board agrees, that's what, if audit committee is there, if audit committee is applicable, then audit committee is recommending to the board. If board also accepted the recommendation of audit committee, thereafter what they will do, audit committee this board of directors will recommend the auditor to the members, then members will appoint finally. Fifth point I am going to read now. If the board disagrees with the recommendation of auditor, it shall refer back the recommendation to the committee for reconsideration, stating reason for such disagreement. In some cases, what will happen? Audit committee will recommend one person, but board is not interested. Board of directors is not interested with that auditor. Then they will reply to the board. For this reason, we are rejecting. Okay, and they will inform to the board. Sorry, they will inform to the audit committee. Board will inform to the audit committee. Please reconsider your decision. Change some other auditor. Give some other recommendation. Okay. Sixth point, if the audit committee, after considering the reason given by the board, decides not to reconsider its original recommendation, the board shall record reason for its disagreement with the committee and sends its own recommendation for consideration of the members. And if the board agrees the recommendation of the audit, it shall place the matter of the consideration by members in AGM. Now the choice is left to the board actually. If audit committee's recommendation is not accepted by the board, then they will appoint some other person as an auditor. That is the ultimate power of board actually, board of directors. They will recommend to the members also. If the board convenes the if the audit committee convenes the board, no, this auditor is good auditor, please appoint them also, him only is a nice auditor. So in such a case, board of directors can accept the audit committee recommendation and they can recommend to the members. The point is, board is recommending, audit committee is recommending, board is rejecting. Audit committee is recommending, board is rejecting. Audit committee is recommending, board is rejecting, and board is selecting his own auditor and recommending the members, shareholder of the company. Audit committee's recommendation is again accepted by the board of directors. Second choice, I am saying second choice. Now, audit committee's recommendation is accepted by the board and it is recommended to the members. That is second choice. Both will happen. Okay. So that is the point. Seventh point is point which already we covered. Up to 6th annual general meeting, that auditor is eligible to be appointed as an auditor. So next thing, next box, before reading the next box, in between one para, between two box actually, that thing I am going to read now. Provided further, before such appointment is made, written consent of the auditor to such appointment, a certificate from him and the appointment or it that the appointment made shall be in accordance with the condition rule 4. Thing is, so before appointment of an auditor, we have to get the certificate from the auditor. We have to get the letter from the auditor, consent letter, that is called consent letter, and also we have to get the certificate from the auditor. What certificate it is? Generally, if I am going to appoint one auditor, means I have to check whether he is eligible for appointment as an auditor in my company or not. Whether he is eligible to act as an auditor in my company or not. For that I have to get some certificate. Meaning, he should not be disqualified by any rules and regulation. He should not be disqualified by any rules and regulations. That certificate I have to get him, and also consent letter also I have to get from him before during the appointment. Okay. The point is rule 4. That is rule 4. Rule 4 I am going to read now. Condition for appointment and notice to registrar. Auditor appointed rule 3 shall submit a certificate that individual or firm or case may be eligible for appointment is not disqualified for appointment under the Act, Charter Accountants Act 1949 and rules or regulation made thereunder. That means if somebody is eligible, if I am going to appoint someone as an auditor, that auditor has to disclose that I am eligible, I am an eligible person, I am not violated any rules and regulation. I am not violated my Institute of Charter Accountants of India Act. I am not violated the code of conduct. I am not violated the ethics. So hence I am eligible for conducting an audit. Okay, that certificate auditor by self he has to produce. Okay. Second point, the proposed appointment is as per the terms provided under the Act. The proposed appointment is within the limit. General points, all are general point. But rule 4 point number 2 you read. Notice to registrar about appointment of auditor under 4th provision to subsection 1 of section 9 139 shall be in form ADT 1. So when the auditor is appointed, ADT 1 should be filed with the registrar. Registrar means Register of Companies, ROC, MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. I have to file a form called ADT 1. Okay. ADT 1 is appointment of auditor. Okay. ADT 1 is appointment of auditor. That should be filed by the auditor actually. That should be filed by the auditor. Okay. So the next point is come to the next page, page number 3. Come to the next page. In that rule number 2, I am going to read it. No listed company or a company belong to such class or class of company as prescribed in Rule 5 of Chapter 10 under the Act shall appoint or reappoint an individual as an auditor for more than one term of 5 consecutive years and an audit firm as an auditor for more than 2 term of 5 consecutive years. So that's what I am trying to say. Rotation of auditor. As I said, no. 5 years is the one term which we can appoint one auditor. Okay. But there are some companies, listed companies. Listed company means what? Listed. Their shares are listed in the stock exchange or such class of company. What is that such class of companies? Rule 5 you please say it. Below this point Rule 5 is there. What is the meaning of such class of companies? So first point, before in that the class of company shall mean the following class of companies excluding one person company and small companies. So one person company and the small company is not such a class of companies. So point number A, all unlisted public companies having paid up share capital of 10 crore or more. All unlisted public companies having paid up share capital of 10 crore or more. Second point, point number B, all private limited companies having paid up share capital of 50 crore or more. Or private limited company having paid up capital of 50 crore or more. Point number C, all companies having paid up share capital of below threshold limit in A and B but having public borrowings from financial institution, bank or deposits of 50 crore or more. So the point is, who is eligible for rotation of auditor? Which company is eligible for rotation of auditor? Mandatory rotation of auditor. Rotation of auditor means same auditor we cannot appoint for many years. That is meaning of rotation of auditor. So in the old days, what in old Companies Act 1956, you don't have a provision for rotation of auditor. Even one auditor can be appointed for many years. Same auditor, many years he will be appointed as an auditor. That provision is this provision is introduced in the Companies Act 2013. This is basically, there are certain class of companies where auditor cannot be appointed for the unlimited years. There is a limitation. Okay. So which type of company it is? One is listed companies. Listed companies, they have to follow the rotation of auditors. And one more thing is public company, unlisted public company having paid up share capital of how much? 10 crore or more. If they have a paid up capital of 10 crore or more, then they have to follow the rotation of auditor. And one more category, all private limited companies having paid up capital of 50 crore or more, then this rotation is applicable. Now the question is, my company is an unlisted public company. I have less than 10 crore paid up capital. My private company, I am a private company. I have less than 50 crore or more share capital, paid up share capital. But I am having a public borrowings and borrowings from financial institution which is more than 50 crore or more. Whether rotation of auditor is applicable to my company or not? Yes, it is applicable. That is what's point number C under the Rule 5. Point number C. Rule 5 point number C is all companies having paid up share capital of below threshold limit mentioned in point number A and B above, but having paid public borrowings from financial institution, bank or public deposit of rupees 50 crore or more, then rotation of auditor is applicable. So to whom rotation of audit is applicable? One is listed company and unlisted public company having paid up capital of 10 crore or more, and private companies having paid up capital of 50 crore or more. If they don't have the capital of the above the threshold limit what I discussed, but their borrowings is more than 50 crore or more, then also rotation of auditor is applicable. Okay, this is the eligibility for rotation. This is the condition for rotation. Then what is that rotation? How to rotate? What is the years? Again come to that Rule 5 class of companies below, above there is a point. Rule 5 class of companies above there is a point. Like that point is no listed company or company being belonging to such class or class of company as per same Rule 5 of Chapter 10 under the Act shall appoint or reappoint an individual as an auditor for more than one term of 5 consecutive years and an audit firm as an auditor for more than 2 term of 5 consecutive years. So now the question is, my company is coming under such class of companies. My company is a listed company. How can I appoint the auditors? What is the basis? What Act says is, if you are appointing an individual as an auditor, if you are appointing as an individual as an auditor, what is individual? What is partnership firm? Individual is basically proprietor. Auditor, only one auditor is doing the service. But partnership, more than one auditor, more than one practicing chartered accountant, together many partners joined one day and they are started one office. That is partnership. If my firm is a proprietorship, that means single auditor, then I am eligible to do an audit for such a class of companies for up to 5 years. Up to 5 years only. I cannot do audit more than 5 years for a class of companies if I am an individual. But if I am a partnership firm, what is partnership firm? In partnership firm is normally there will be many partners in that audit firm. That means many chartered accountants together, more than one chartered accountant together, they will join and they will start a firm. That is partnership firm. If I am in the nature of, my constitution is in the nature of a partnership firm, then my firm is eligible to conduct the audit in your company for 2 5 years consecutive years, 2 term of 5 years, 2 term of 5 consecutive years. That is, first term 5 years I will appoint, again one more term 5 years. So 5 plus 5 equal to 10 years. So if it is a partnership firm, I can appoint 5 years plus 5 years equal to 10 years. I can appoint one audit firm as a auditor in my company. So the maximum time, maximum limit given under the Companies Act for such class of companies for appointing an auditor is one auditor. The particular auditor is, if in an individual, I can appoint that individual as an auditor for 5 years maximum. Okay, 5 years maximum. But in case of partnership firm, I can appoint them as for 10 years, maximum of 10 years. But that appointment should be 5 years. First 5 years I have to appoint. Again after 5 years, one more 5 years I have to appoint. So 5 plus 5, 10 years. Totally I have to appoint the auditors. So individual 5 years, partnership firm 10 years. Okay. This is the rotation of auditor. After that I have to appoint some other auditor. If individual 5 years over means I have to appoint some other auditor. If partnership firm 10 years is over, I have to appoint some other auditor. That is for the rotation of auditor. Now the question is, so I appointed a particular individual or audit firm for 5 years or a 10 years period. Then now the next question is whether the same auditor can do audit in future, or I should not appoint him in any near future. I should not appoint in future itself. He is appointed. I am not eligible to appoint in future itself. Now the question is, I appointed him for 5 years individual. 5 years is over and I am not eligible to appoint. Now the question is whether can I appoint him after some time again as an auditor in my company. Yes, we can appoint. That is called cooling period. We have to understand what is cooling period. That we will discuss. What is cooling period we will discuss. So cooling period we will discuss. So rule 5 we discussed already. Next to rule 5 I am reading the provided that point. Provided that an individual auditor who has completed his term under shall not be eligible for reappointment as an auditor in the same company for 5 years from the completion of his term. Next point, an auditor which has completed his term shall not be eligible for reappointment in the same for 5 years from the completion of his such term. So now they are talking about cooling period. So I appointed individual as an auditor for 1 year. I appointed partnership firm as an auditor for 10 years. So 5 years for individual, 10 years for partnership firm. They completed the 5 years fully. They completed the 10 years fully. Now the question is, when can I appoint this auditor again in my company? So there is a cooling period. That cooling period is given here. So if the appointment of 5 years is over for this auditor, means you have to wait for again 5 years. You have to wait for again 5 years to appoint the same auditor in your company. So that 5 years is cooling period. Okay, that 5 year is cooling period. So I am an individual. I appointed for 5 years in this company. My appointment is over because I completed 5 years. So when I can appointed as an auditor in the same company again? So I have to wait for 5 years again. I have to wait for 5 years again. After the completion of 5 years, then I can appoint him as an auditor again. That is the provision. That this 5 years is waiting period. This 5 years is cooling period. This is for individual. Then what about audit firm? I can appoint audit firm for 10 years. Correct? 5 plus 5 equal to 10 years. I can appoint one auditor as an auditor in my company. So it means partnership firm I can appoint as an auditor in my company. 10 years they have completed the audit in my company. Now how long they have to wait to be get appointed as an again in my auditor? They have to wait for again 5 years. For cooling period, waiting period is same for both individual and partnership firm. Waiting period is same for both individual and partnership firm. Waiting period for individual is 5 years. Waiting period for partnership firm is also 5 years. So after the completion of 5 years waiting period, then the same person you can appoint in the same company again as an auditor. This rotation is applicable. Is not applicable to all the companies. It is applicable only to such class of companies. That's what we studied there. So rotation of auditor is it is not like that. It should be applied to all the company. Only such class of company only it is applicable. All other companies it is not applicable. Okay. So the thing is, I am going to read, provided that on that first point, second point I have written. I have gone through the first point and second point. I am going to read below that. Provided further that as on the date of appointment, no audit firm shall having common partner or partner to the other audit firm whose tenure has expired in a company immediately preceding the financial year, he shall be appointed as an auditor of the same company for a period of 5 years. So what they are trying to say is, I appointed one auditor, one audit firm, not auditor, one audit firm, partnership firm. In that partnership firm, there are 3 partners, A, B, C. There are 3 partners, A, B, C. Partnership name, say for example, ABC Limited. Partnership firm, say for example, ABC LLP. You can say ABC LLP. So this partnership firm I appointed as an auditor in my company. So 3 partners, ABC. So they completed 10 years. And they are not eligible for appointment for next 5 years. Because that next 5 years is after completion of 10 years, the next 5 years is cooling period, waiting period. So now what they are saying is, this partnership is having 3 partners, ABC. So out of this ABC, that C partner is also partner in one another firm. That C partner is also partner in another firm. He is having he is having partnership in 2 firms. He is having partnership in ABC, as well as he is having partnership with the XY also. He is having partnership with the XY also. That is also chartered accountant firm. So XYC ABC ABC already appointed 10 years. So you can't appoint this ABC for next 5 years, because next 5 years is cooling period, waiting period. So now the thing is, one more audit firm, that is called the XYC. This C is a common partner for both the firm. Common partner means he is having partnership in ABC as well as he is having partnership in XYC. Okay. Now the same company which is appointed ABC earlier for 10 years, they should not appoint after this 10 years XYC as a auditor in their firm. You got it or not what I am saying? The same company which appointed as an auditor for this ABC for 10 years, after the completion of 10 years, 5 years is the cooling period. So in this 5 years, they should not appoint the auditor from XYC also, because ABC C is the partner. ABC C is the partner. He is having partnership in ABC. This C is also having partnership with XYC. Okay. So common partner, this is called common partner. Hence, rotation is applicable to common partnership also. Got it or not? Why this restriction? Why we are giving some cooling period? First of all, same auditor, same is signing means there will be, we have to give some rotation to auditor. The otherwise, then only if there is some frauds which is not identified by this auditor can be identified by the new auditor. That is the purpose actually. So that is why I am rotating. So if the C is partner in the ABC as well as he is partner in the XYC also, then there is no point in appointing XYC, because the same auditor who is did the audit in ABC, that the partner is available in XYC also. So the point what I am trying to say is, if you have a common partner in both the firm, then both the firm is not eligible for reappointment for that cooling period purpose. Okay, that is what I am trying to say. I am going to read the next point. Continuation, next point. Provided also that every company existing on or before the commencement of this act, which is required to comply with the provision of subsection, shall comply with the requirements of the subsection within 3 years from the date of commencement of the act. So Companies Act 2013 they started. Companies Act 2013 they have started. Correct. Companies Act 2013 only this provision is applicable. Okay. Before that this provision is not applicable. Before Companies Act 2013, if you appointed you may appoint some auditor for 10 years, you may appoint some auditor for 15 years. Correct. So what they are trying to say is, if you appointed some auditor before this Companies Act 2013 itself, then they are giving 3 years time to comply this provision. Actually they are giving 3 years time to comply this provision, extra 3 years time for to comply this provision. That's what they are trying to say here. For 1 mark purposes, you have to remember all the numbers, all the days, all the rules and regulation, all the penalty amount, all anything in number or anything in period, you have to remember. Okay, 1 mark purpose. So this is the general points. Come to next thing, rule 6, manner of rotation of auditor by companies on expiry of their term. Manner of rotation, how can rotate their auditor? Rotation means you are changing the auditor like that. Okay, so manner of rotation. So what is given in the under the manner of rotation? I am reading rule 6, manner of rotation, page number 3. Rule 6, manner of rotation of auditor by the companies on expiry of the term. Under that, point number 1, the audit company shall recommend to the board, the audit committee shall recommend to the board the name of an individual auditor or audit firm who may replace the incumbent auditor on expiry of such incumbent. So the new auditor should be recommended by the board. Okay, new auditor should be recommended by board or audit committee should be recommended to the members. Members ultimately they will appoint. Okay, next page, page number 4 I am reading. First point on that. Second point number 2, where a company is required to constitute an audit committee, the board shall consider recommendation. Same thing. Again and again they are repeating the same thing. Board has to recommend, first audit committee has to recommend to the board has to then recommend to the member has to appoint. If audit committee is not available, then board has to select the auditor and then they have to recommend to the member. Same thing. Okay. So whatever the point I discussed just now, same company, common partner, same network, same company, common partner, all these things are related thing. For that cooling period, you have to think. Cooling period, for the cooling period, we have to consider, we have to ignore those firms also. ABC, if you are appointed, then you have to ignore the XYC also, because C is there in both the firm. Like all the point is again discussed here, same network, same trademark, all the same brand they are using, there will be 3 to 4 firms who will do the MNC audit firm brand. Actually MNC, under the MNC audit brand firm, these 3 to 4 firms will be there. So all these things are coming under this rotation restriction. Okay, you can't appoint all the other firms also, because they all are using one brand, MNC brand. Big Four, that brand they might use. So you can't appoint one more audit firm using the same brand. Okay, that's what they are saying. I am going to read the point number 5. Point number 5 in the page number 4. In page number 4, I am going to read the point number 5. In the case of government company or any other company owned or controlled directly or indirectly by the central government or by any central government or government or partly by the central government, partly by one or more state government, so and so things that they are trying to say is in case of government company. Government company means state government, central government, both state and central government, all the category they are saying. Okay, who has to appoint the auditor for government company? That is the question. In normal case, the auditor is appointed by the members of the company, but in case of government company, who has to appoint the auditors? Government auditor. Normally government company means CAGA, Controller and Auditor General of India. They have to appoint the auditor. They have to appoint the auditor. So that's what they said. You read the fourth line in the fifth point number fourth line I am reading. The Controller and the Auditor General of India shall, in respect of a financial year, appoint an auditor duly qualified to appoint as an auditor of a company under this act within a period of 180 days from the commencement of the financial year, who shall hold office till the conclusion of the annual general meeting. Thing is, government company, government auditor is appointed by CAGA. CAGA is a Controller Auditor General of India. It's a government separate wing, actually separate statutory body. That statutory body has to appoint the auditor, actually. Statutory body has to appoint the auditor within how many days? Within 180 days from the commencement of financial year. With the 180 days from the commencement of financial year, I have to appoint. Okay, that auditor, appointed auditor is eligible to do audit for next annual general meetings. That means for 1 year I have to appoint one auditor for government companies. Okay, point number 6. Point number 6 just now we discussed. That is the first point we discussed. First auditor, how to appoint. First auditor should be appointed. That is not a government company. This is general company. For this, first auditor should be appointed by board of directors within 30 days from the date of incorporation. If he fails to appoint within 30 days, then he has to, then member of the company has to appoint within next 90 days by calling the EGM, extraordinary general meeting. That appointed auditor is valid for appointment. Auditor appointment is valid up to next that is first AGM. Okay, so point number 7 I am going to read on the page number 4. Point number 7 I am going to read. In the case of government company or any other company are controlled directly or indirectly central government, state government, or partly so and so things by one or more, the first auditor of government company. They are discussing about the first auditor of the government company. First auditor of the government company is appointed by Controller and Auditor General of India within 60 days from the date of registration of the company. In case of CAGA does not appoint such auditor, the board of directors has appoint such auditor within next 30 days. In the case of failure of board also appoint such auditor within next 30 days. It shall inform the members of the company who shall appoint the auditor within 60 days at an extraordinary meeting, who shall hold office till conclusion of the first AGM. Okay, the point is so first auditor of government company. First auditor of government company is different from first auditor of normal company. So here what they are saying is first auditor of government company is appointed by CAGA only. Time is 60 days. Time is 60 days from the date of incorporation of the company. First auditor means new auditor, newly started company. But that is government company. CAGA has to appoint within 60 days from the date of incorporation. But if CAGA fails to appoint, is not appointed, they are not appointed the auditor, then board of directors of the company. Board of directors of the company is the top level management. They have to appoint this auditor within how many days? Within next 30 days they have to appoint this auditor. Within next 30 days. After completion of 60 days, then next 30 days they have to appoint, it should be appointed by the board of directors. If board of directors also fails to appoint, then they have to inform to the members. Members means whom? Shareholders of the company. Shareholders has to call the EGM, extraordinary general meeting, then they have to appoint within how many days? After completion of 30 days, within 60 days from the information given to them, within 60 days they have to call the board of meeting, they have to call the extraordinary general meeting, then they have to appoint the first auditor. So first auditor is appointed by board of directors within 60 days from the date of incorporation. If they fails to appoint, then next 30 days first auditor is appointed by CAGA within 60 days. If they fails to appoint on next 30 days, board of directors has to appoint. If the board is also fails on next 60 days, members has to call the AGM, then they have to appoint the first auditor. Then the appointed auditor, their appointment is valid up to next first AGM, up to the first AGM. So this is the provision you have to remember for 1 mark purpose. Numbers you have to remember. Okay, definitely you can expect a 1 mark from these topics. So next page, I have already completed the point number 7 in next page also. So point number 8 in the next page. Point number point number 8. So any casual vacancy in the office of an auditor shall, in the case of company other than a company whose accounts are subject to audit by an auditor appointed by the CAGA to be filled by board of directors within 30 days, but if such casual vacancy is a result of a resignation of audit, such appointment shall be approved by the company to AGM convened within 3 months of the recommendation of the board and shall hold office till the conclusion of the next AGM. So what they are trying to say, what is casual vacancy? Generally, suddenly there is a death of an auditor. It's a casual vacancy. So if there is a casual vacancy due to death, okay, in such a case, how we have to reappoint the auditor? So that is for auditor in case of the company other than that is. So first point is basically casual vacancy. First point is basically not for government company, that is for general companies. Okay, so in case the casual vacancy arises for general company which is not a government company, that general company means it may be a public company or private company also. Okay, so board of directors has to appoint within 30 days from the date of casual vacancy. If they fail to appoint, nothing is given related to that one. But if the casual vacancy is due to resignation of auditor, then that is not a normal casual vacancy. Casual vacancy means due to death or some other natural reason. Due to that reason, you can board of directors can appoint some other auditor within 30 days. But that casual vacancy is arised due to resignation. Auditor is resigned from the company. Then board of directors should not appoint the auditor. Then the members. I think. Then the members should be called. General meeting should be called. General meeting means any general meeting. General meeting means it is attended by shareholders. General meeting is attended by shareholders. Meeting convened within 3 months on the recommendation of board and shall hold the office till the conclusion of next AGM. If it is a casual vacancy other than resignation, means board itself can appoint within 30 days. If it is a casual vacancy because of resignation, then they have to call the general meeting. They have to conduct the general meeting within 3 months, and board has to recommend some auditor to the members. Members will appoint in the general meeting. Board don't have rights to appoint directly. They have to recommend only to the members. In general meeting, they will call the general meeting within 3 months. In that general meeting, the auditor is appointed. Casual auditor is appointed. A replacement auditor is appointed. That person is an auditor for up to next AGM. Okay. I am going to read the second point now. On point number 8, I am going to read the second point. In the case of company whose accounts are subject to audit by an auditor appointed by the CAGA, be filled by the CAGA of India within 30 days. In case of government company, if there is a casual vacancy, it is CAGA is appointing the auditor within 30 days. I am reading the continuation. Provided that in case of CAGA does not fill the vacancy within the period, board of directors shall fill the vacancy within next 30 days. So if CAGA fails to appoint the auditor for the first 30 days for casual vacancy, Then the next 30 days, board of director has to appoint the casual auditor. Okay, replacement for casual auditor. So the thing is, in case of government company, CAGA given time for 30 days. They have not appointed the auditor means, then board has to appoint. Board means board of directors. CAGA means it's a statutory body. CAGA, Controller Auditor General of India. Okay. So CAGA fails to appoint within 30 days, then board has to appoint the auditor on the next 30 days. So I am going to read the point number 9 now. Point number 9 belongs to a retiring auditor may be reappointed after an annual general meeting if he is not qualified for reappointment, he is not disqualified for reappointment, he has not given any company willingness of unwillingness to be reappointed, and a special resolution has been passed at that meeting appointing some other auditor providing express that he shall not be reappointed. So the point is, general point, reappointment of an auditor. Reappointment of auditor. So the point number 9 is reappointment of an auditor. So every year we have given appointment for 5 years. We have given appointment for 5 years. Normally the term of audit period is 5 years actually. But every year they used to reappoint the auditor again. The same auditor again and again they will reappoint. Okay. So when we are reappointing the auditor, when we will not reappoint the auditor, when we will not reappoint the auditor, or when we will reappoint the auditor. We have given an appointment for auditor for 5 years. 1 year, first year is over, first AGM is over, second AGM is over, first AGM is over. Again on the first AGM, again I will appoint this auditor. Even though 5 years appointment I have given to him, but in between this 5 years, if he has done some default, or if he has done some in between this 5 years, if he has violated some rules and regulation, or in between this first year or second year, if he has conducted some what you can say, disqualification, or he is not willing to do audit. So that also one case. He is giving some willingness. He is not ready to continue as an auditor. So he is expressing his opinion that I am not interested in reappointment. So you please appoint someone else also. In such a case, we have to appoint other person, and otherwise we have to appoint the same person as an auditor. So point number C, under the point number 9, under the point number C. Under that point number C is, a special resolution has not been passed at that meeting appointing some other auditor or providing express that he shall not be reappointed. So during the reappointment, if company does not want to continue with this auditor, means they have an option to reappoint other auditor also by passing special resolution. That's what they said. So point number 10, that is also important. Point number 10 is, where at any annual general meeting no auditor is appointed or reappointed, the existing auditor shall continue to be auditor of the company. So when the auditor, I appointed 5 years one auditor, but every year I have to give reappointment. Normally that is the general practice actually. So in this case, if a new auditor is not appointed, or not, if the existing auditor is not reappointed, then he is an auditor for my company. Okay, that is what they are trying to say, and he is to be continue to be an auditor for my company. That is what they are saying. Continue to be the auditor of the company. Okay, because no auditor is appointed, then what is the option available to me? The existing auditor will be an auditor for my company. Okay, so summary at a glance is the below thing. You please go through yourself. Summary at a glance is like a revision. Whatever the points we discussed, that revision is presented as a summary at a glance. So next thing is, I am going to read the manner of rotation of auditors by the companies on expiry of their term. Manner of rotation of auditors by the companies on expiry of their term. So manner of rotation means what? As I said, 5 years rotation. For example, such a class of companies, 5 years is over, so that individual auditor cannot be reappointed due to that company is coming into such a class of companies. So in such a case, how to rotate this auditor? That's what given as a provision here. I am going to read that. The audit committee shall recommend to the board name of an individual auditor of an auditor who may be replaced the incumbent on expiry at the term of such incumbent. So audit committee is there, they will recommend. If audit committee is not there, board of director will recommend. Okay. So next para I am reading, second para. Where a company is required to constitute an audit committee, the board shall consider the recommendation of such committee. In other cases, the board shall itself consider the matter of rotation of auditor and makes a recommendation for appointment of the next auditor by the members in the annual general meeting. If audit committee is applicable, then audit committee recommend. If audit committee is not applicable, then board itself will recommend one auditor to, and that auditor is appointed in the AGM, new auditor, rotation of auditor. Okay. I am reading continuation. For the purpose of the rotation of auditors, in the case of auditors, whether an individual or audit firm, the period for which the individual of a firm has held off with the auditor prior to the commencement of act shall be taken into account, calculating period of consecutive years or 10 years as the case may be. So the incoming auditor or audit firm shall not be eligible if such auditor of a firm is associated with outgoing auditor of audit firm under the same network of audit firms. They are saying that provision, what I said, no. Provision under the Companies Act 2013 is applicable from 2013 only. So before 2013, there is no concept of rotation of auditor. There is no concept of rotation of auditor. Rotation of auditor is applicable from 2013 only. So before that, even single auditor they will appoint for 50 years. No problem, because there is no compulsory provision under the Companies to change the auditor. Okay. So now Companies Act 2013 is a new act. In that only this point is there. What they are trying to say, so as I said, if any auditor is appointed before 2013 for many years or so many years, this Companies Act 2013 has given additional 3 years of time to comply with the Companies Act 2013. I am not getting into in depth actually about that aspect, but the point is they are repeating the same point again here. One is same network, same common partners you should not appoint as an auditor. As I said, the partnership firm ABC XYC, you can't appoint first ABC for 10 years and after completion of 10 years you should not appoint again XYC for your as an auditor for your company, because the 5 years, the next 5 years should be cooling period. In that cooling period you should not appoint the common partners who is partner in other firm also, and network firms. Network firm means I said one big four company will be there. That big four, under that big four audit firm, Indian partnership firm, there will be 3 to 4 Indian partnership having tie up with that big four audit firm. So you can't give you can't give the audit to Indian audit firm who is having tie up with the MNC firm. Networking, that is called networking. Okay. So I am going to read I am going to ignore explanation 1, explanation 2, because explanation 1, explanation 2 we have already discussed. Only thing is cooling period 5 years, waiting period 5 years. If it is an individual or partnership, waiting period is 5 years. For individual, I can appoint one auditor for only for 5 years if that individual is auditing the such class of company means. Or if it is a partnership firm, I can appoint that partnership firm for maximum of 10 years for that company, for that such class of company. After completion of 10 years or 5 years in case of individual, I have to give time for 5 years. I have to wait for 5 years cooling period, waiting period to reappoint the same auditor which I appointed earlier. That is what the point is given here. Okay. I am going to read the next heading, that is removal, resignation of auditor and giving of special notice. Removal, resignation of auditor and giving of special notice. Removal of auditor. What is the difference between resignation and removal? Resignation is auditor is giving letter that he is not interested to or he does not want to continue the service for the company. Voluntarily is signing the letter. But in case of removal, company is taking initiative that they don't want to continue with this auditor, but auditor is interested to continue. they don't want, auditor does not want to resign from his position, but company wants to remove this auditor. Okay, in such case what will happen? There is some procedure, because company is removing means then there will be lot of consequences. So removal is company is taking initiative against or some initiative to remove the auditor. Actually auditor is not interested to resign, so company wants to remove from the company actually. In such case what provisions, what all things they have to follow? So under that first point, the auditor appointed under section 139 may be removed from his office before the expiry of his term only by special resolution of the company, after applying the previous approval of central government in that behalf in manner prescribed under the rule 7. So if I want to remove an auditor, remove means company is taking initiative to remove that auditor. They don't want to continue with that auditor. So how to proceed that? So they have to pass the special resolution in the annual general meeting, in the special resolution in the general meeting actually, and also they have to get the previous approval from the central government. Central government approval is also required, special resolution is also required, then only company is eligible to remove the auditor. Okay, I am going to read the rule 7 now. Below that, rule 7, removal of auditor before expiry of his term. The application to the central government for removal of auditor shall be made in form ADT2 and shall be accompanied with the fees. And second point, the application shall be made to the central government within 30 days of the resolution passed by the board. Third point, the company shall hold the general meeting within 60 days of the receipt of approval of the central government for passing the special resolution. First step, I have to apply to central government for removal of auditor. Which form? ADT2. Auditor appointment ADT1, auditor removal ADT2. Okay. So within 30 days of passing the resolution, first I have to board has to pass on resolution, we are going to remove. That is the first step. Next step is within 30 days they have to apply to the central government with form ADT2. Okay. So ADT2, after application of ADT2 and getting the approval from the central government, I have to call the special resolution. I have to call the meeting and I have to pass the special resolution. All these conditions satisfied, then only I can remove the auditor. Okay. So I am reading the continuation. Provided that before taking any action under this subsection, the auditor concerned that shall be given a reasonable opportunity of being heard. So before removing an auditor, I have to discuss with the auditor. I have to send a notice, show cause notice. Why I should not remove you from my company? I have to give some reason of being heard, opportunity of being heard. Okay. So second point, I am going to read the second point, the removal. Point is, the auditor who has resigned from the company shall file within a period of 30 days from the date of resignation statement the prescribed form ADT3 with the companies and register, and in case of company referred government and company where CAG appoints auditor shall file a statement to CAGA including reasons and further facts may be relevant with regard to his resignation. This point is not directly related to removal. What they are saying is, if auditor is resigned, not removal, if auditor is resigned from the company, so within 30 days of his resignation, he has to file one form. That form is ADT3. This is for resignation, not for removal. Auditor is resigning from the company. In this case, ADT3 should be filed by auditor within 30 days. But in case of government company, government auditor, he has to file one statement with the CAGA. Okay. This is the point. Next point. Third point. If the auditor does not comply with the provision of above section 2, what we studied now, he shall be liable to a penalty of 50,000 or an amount equal to the remuneration of the auditor, whichever is less. In case of continuing failure, whether with the further penalty of 500 rupees of each day after the first day, during such failure continues subject to a maximum of 5 lakh rupees. What he is saying, if auditor does not file the ADT3 within the timeline, then penalty of 50,000 will be charged on auditor, or fees he is receiving, whichever is less. Okay, but he is still not filing the report, not filing the return. ADT3 is not filing. Then that penalty may be increased per day 500 rupees, which can be increased up to 5 lakh rupees per day. 500 rupees extra penalty, maximum of up to 5 lakh rupees. So 50,000 or fees whichever is less, that is the penalty. But in case of continuing failure with further penalty is 500 rupees per day for continuing default, which is subject to maximum of 5 lakh rupees. Why this penalty? When he is not filed the ADT 3 in case of normal company, and when he is not filed the statement of return or statement of register in case of government company. Okay. So I am going to read the point number 4. Special notice shall be required to be resolution at an AGM appointing as an auditor a person other than retaining auditor, providing express that retaining auditor shall not be reappointed except where the retaining auditor has completed a consecutive tenure of the 5 years, or the case may be 10 years, so and so things. Thing is, when I am reappointing some other auditor in the place of existing auditor, for example, one auditor I gave 5 years appointment, first year over, second year over, third year I am going to reappoint some other auditor, not this auditor. This is not removal, this is reappointment during AGM, because every year we have to appoint an auditor. Okay, so but I am not continuing with this auditor, I am going to change the some other auditor. Okay, in such case I have to give notice, that is special notice. Special notice should be given to whom? To shareholder member and also to the auditor. Okay, I am going to read the point number Roman letter 2 in point number 4, Roman number 2 I am going to read. On receipt of notice of such a resolution, the company shall will send a company there to retiring auditor. Send a copy there to retiring auditor. Point number 3, where a notice is given of such resolution, then the retiring auditor makes the respect to the representative writing to the company not exceeding reasonable rent, and requests his representative to be members of the company. Request his notification to members of the company shall, unless the representative is received by too late for do so. What they are trying to say? First point is, I am going to reappoint some other auditor in the place of existing auditor before expiry of his term. In such case, I have to give notice to auditor also. Okay, in such case I have to give notice to auditor also. On receipt of that notice, auditor will write something, that retiring auditor, the person that retiring auditor, he will write something. He will write something, his reason or his point, and it should be shared with the members during the AGM. Why he is not reappointed? He has to write some story. What about his experience with the company? Auditor has to write some facts. Why he is not reappointed? Is there any fraud done by this company? Okay, such things should be shared with the members of the company. The thing is, notice is given to auditor to the retiring auditor. He is not reappointed. So that based on notice, retiring auditor has to give some reason, some point, some observation, some response from his side to the company and management and shareholder. After receipt of that response received from the auditor, what is the next step? This company has to circulate this response received from auditor to shareholders. Shareholders will read why this auditor is not reappointed, why new auditor, why old auditor is not reappointed. Old auditor story they will read. Okay, this is the reason. What reason? Due to his personal reason, or due to not capable of, due to health reason, or due to busy nature of work, he is not reappointed. That may be the reason, or sometimes critical reason. This company is conducting some fraud. We are not able to do our work properly. Limitations, non-availability of information. All these things they can put as a point. So I am going to read the point number 3 under the point number 4. Point number 4 la I am going to read the Roman letter 3. Point number 4 la I am going to read Roman letter 3. Where notice is given to such resolution, and the retiring auditor makes the respect there to represent writing to the company not exceeding reason, and request to its notification to members of the company shall, unless the representative received by it too late for do so. Point number A, under that point number Roman letter 3 la point number A, in any notice of resolution given to the members of the state, the fact of the representative have been made, and sent a copy of representative to every member of the whom notice meeting sent before or after the receipt of representative by the company. And if a copy of representative not sent because it was received too late, or because of the company's default, should be required to be representative shall be read out at the meeting. What they are saying? Company is giving notice to auditor. Auditor is giving his response, his reply to the company. Why he is not reappointed? That response should be shared with the members. That response should be shared with the shareholder. Then only shareholder will get aware why that existing auditor is reappointed. Okay. So shareholder should be, this response should be shared with the members. But auditor is not replying quickly. Or company is not sent the notice to auditor quickly. Or auditor is sent the reply quickly, but company is not circulated the auditor reply to the members. They defaulted. They have not circulated the auditor response to the members priorly. In such case, what they will do, company will do, during the AGM, during the conducting of AGM, members will be present. All the members will be present. That time they will read the auditor response in the AGM meeting. Annual general meeting, they will read the response of the auditor. In front of the crowd they will read. But because of default by company or default by auditor, the response is not reached priorly to the members. Okay. That is the point. I am going to read next point. Provided that if a copy is not sent away, a copy shall be filed with the registrar. Provided for if the tribunal is satisfied on the application either of the company or any other aggrieved person, the rights conferred by subsection are being abused by the auditor, then copy of the representative may not be sent. Representative need not be read at the meeting. What they are saying? Auditor is writing some story. Auditor is writing some auditor is trying to create some sympathy. By he is done a very good job in this company, but still they are removing me. But still they are not reappointing me. They are appointing new auditor. They are not given chance to me. I have done my level best. I identified fraud. That's why they are not reappointing me. Like that, they will write something. So if it is read by this member, they will take wrong decision. So company or some other person will go to court. Actually, they will go to the tribunal. That court. This auditor is lying. Actually, he is trying to create sympathy. So this response I will not share with the members of the company, because this auditor is claiming unthings. Actually, claiming fake. Is sharing fake information which will affect the company's future. So we are not going to share this response with the members, because he is writing lies in the response letter. If court is satisfied, yes, this auditor is lying, this auditor is reasons are not genuine, then we need not to share the auditor response letter to the members. Okay, that is what they said, that tribunal point. I am going to read the fifth point now. Without prejudice to any action under the provision of an act or any other law for the time being in force, the tribunal either sui motu or an application made by the central government or by any person concerned is satisfied that the audit of the company has whether directly or indirectly acted in a fraudulent manner or abated or colluted in any fraud or in relation to any company, it may order that the company change its auditor. If sometimes what will happen, central government or court itself, sometime what they will do, they will issue an order. This auditor, your company's auditor is a fraud auditor. You change that auditor. Okay, that is the point. That is the meaning. Okay. What is the next point? Provided that if the application is made by central and the tribunal is satisfied that any change of the auditor is required, it shall file within 15 days of the receipt of survey, make an order and that it shall not function as an auditor, as central may appoint another auditor in place. If the court is saying immediately remove that auditor is fraud, means then we have to remove that auditor immediately. That removed auditor has to file one statement within 50 days. Within 50 days, they have to file one statement. Okay, that's what they said. Next point you come, please. Next page number 10. Provided further that an auditor, whether individual or firm, against final auditor has been passed by the tribunal under this section, shall not be eligible to appoint as an auditor of any company for a period of 5 years from the date of passing of order, and auditor shall also all be liable for action under section 447. If court is saying this auditor is a fraud auditor, don't appoint him as an auditor, means that the auditor is not eligible to be appointed as an auditor for any company for the next 5 years, and is also eligible to prosecution under 447. We will see what is 447 later. Okay, Lot of point is given here. You have to understand, you have to remember. So if the auditor is culprit or auditor is a fraud which is announced by tribunal and central government, then that auditor will not be appointed as an auditor for any company next 5 years. Is ineligible, disqualified. Okay, summary at glance, you please go through yourself whatever the point we discussed. Based on that only this point is given. Then the next one is eligibility, qualification and disqualification of auditors. So what I plan is, in our next class I will complete the rest of the portion, that is eligibility, qualification, all those things. So I will try to complete in the next class. So this class, present class, you treat it as a part 1 for 7 study note 7.1 7.1. Whatever the discussion today we made it, you treat as a part 1, and you please go through the supplementary paper 12 June 2020 material. Please download from the website, that is specifically revised for study note 7. We'll try to cover the maximum portion, and this is very very important for examination, this chapter actually. 1 mark, 4 mark, all type of practical question also you can expect from this topic. You have to remember days, numbers, years, penalty amount, all type, even section 139, audit under section 139, that also you have to remember. You try to remember sections also in this chapter. Okay, next class we will discuss the balance topic in 7.1, that we will treat it as a part 2. Our next class will be part 2 on 7.1. So with this discussion, I am closing the class. So closing this video. So thank you.